The holidays wouldn't be complete without a pan full of dressing. No, we're not talking salads here. We're talking a casserole dish full of meaty, bready, moist, and savory deliciousness. Some might call it stuffing. Others call it chicken and dressing. I just call it forking good. And I went back to the lady who makes it best to get her recipe. Yep, I'm talking about Mom.
Let's see what we got.
She shared her ultra cheesy macaroni and cheese recipe a few weeks back, and today she's opening up the recipe book for another Southern staple for the holiday dinner table.
Good old dressing. I always use Pepperidge Farm stuffing. I use the cornbread stuffing, the classic stuffing, and the herb seasoned classic stuffing. I don't use the big cubes. I use the crunched up classic of the Okay, we got to get Dad up here to get my big dressing pot out from under the counter.
Here it is.
So I get the biggest pot that I have and put it on the stove. And I put two 32-ounce boxes of chicken broth. What I'm doing here is the drippings that came when I cooked the chicken thighs. I'm just putting all that, some of it's congealed, but it'll melt back out. And it's all the chicken goodness that was in the pan. We want that flavor. Then, after I get the broth coming to a boil, I have 6 cooked chicken thighs, boneless, skinless. And I have shredded those. Then I add a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and probably a half a teaspoon of salt. So in my broth, I put my seasonings, a large 22.6 ounce can of cream of mushroom soup in there. And I usually add 2 cans of cream of chicken soup, the small cans. I couldn't find the big can. So 10.5 ounces, 2 of the cream of chicken, Campbell's soups. One additional ingredient is Better Than Bouillon roasted chicken flavoring, seasoning. It comes in a jar, and I just use one big tablespoon of that into the broth, and everything that we're mixing together just adds delicious flavor. So once we've got the broth, the soup, the seasonings coming to a boil, and the chicken drippings, and the chicken, then I add the cornbread stuffing, 1 full bag. 2 full bags actually, but I add 1 first. Then I add 1 of the herbs, the other herb stuffing. Then I go back and add the second cornbread stuffing as I'm mixing it up because it's swelling, soaking in the water. When it swells up and you've got everything mixed together, your stuffing, your chicken, your soups, your seasoning, and throw in a stick of butter there at the last and let it just melt. Mix it all up. Get your baking pan, whatever you're going to bake it in. Spray it down because it will stick. Everything sticks if you don't spray it. So spray it down with cooking spray. Pour it all in the pan. Even it out. Cover it up with a tin foil. Let it cook for 1 hour on 350. Then you take your cover off, and then you cook it for an additional 20 to 30 minutes. It may take longer. However brown you want it on the top when you take your tin foil off, that's how long you leave it, and it takes 20 to 30 minutes.
Now this needs a while to cool before you dig in, but once you do, you're going to be going back for seconds and adding good old dressing to your holiday repertoire. And don't forget to check out Mom's mac and cheese recipes as well. And if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe to see what forking good recipe we're cooking up next.